Well, good evening, El Paso. Here we are again on our third, I believe, episode of DMB Voices of the Borderland. I was able to get the background or the backdrop on, so I'm excited about that because whenever I log in, it was in the background. So, as you guys know, I am Delirious Montañez, and I am commonly known in our community as DMB. And one of the reasons because I decided to start these DMB Voices of the Borderland is to be able to have a conversation of things that are happening within our community that is affecting every single individual, including myself. Because even though I was a former candidate, I am a constituent of District Texas 16. So many of the things that matters to you matters to me because I get affected just like you and your family members. Last week, we spoke about election integrity. We were looking forward to talk about the League of Women Voters speaker, Cristina Sanchez, but I reached out to the organization and they did not record the video. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I had to turn that light off because I had like a little spot or a little dot on my forehead. So it has been a busy day. As you guys saw on Facebook earlier today, I decided to be a participant of a study that will help not only our veterans and first responders, but any constituent in our community that is actually facing post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, I like to call it post-traumatic stress injury because people do not grow with a disorder, okay? So just to give you a synopsis of today, I arrived at 7:30. I had to be fasted. The last meal before the study needed to be like around 5:30, 2 hours before the study began. And for some reason, my alarm clock didn't go off, or maybe it went off and I didn't hear it. I don't know. And then you go into the study and you follow the process. And it's like a 6-7 hour process over a period of 4 weeks. Okay. I feel very good about today and what we were able to accomplish. You know, these are conversations that you don't have or you can have with your family members or your friends because one, they cannot help you, and two, they don't understand it, and three, they cannot give you any advice on it, on what to do next. If you are live, say hello or do a thumbs up or just some sort of icon so I know that you are live with us. If you have any questions, just make sure that you post them on the comment section of the Facebook Live. In that way, I am able to address them accordingly throughout the virtual session. So like I was saying, last week, we were going to talk about the Legal Women Voters meeting, and then we switched it to election integrity because I was waiting for the recording. But then I reached out to the organization, and sadly to say, or they stated that they didn't record it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. So Monday, myself and a couple of friends that I trust that are US citizens that live in our district are going to help us to begin the process of inspecting the ballots in our district for the 2026 Republican primary elections. There's 3,160 undervotes. I want you to find out where those are. Reason why there were complaints from very credible individuals in the community that preferred to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, that they saw their choices on the ballot change. And you might think, how can that be possible? Well, it's very easy. You can ask any IT person. The computer, the electronic voting machine is going to give you the outcome that you ask the machine to give you, okay? And not to go into details on how the process goes, maybe you can ChatGPT it, or maybe you can Google it, but there has been tampering, manipulation of our voting ballots for a very long time. This is not new. We just have to prove it. And even though whenever we go and inspect the ballots, like I cannot go to those individuals that I just told you that prefer to remain anonymous. I cannot go and see the ballot because the ballots are not with names. The only thing that you'll be able to see is all the, I call it nonsense data or barcodes that are at the beginning of the ballot that nobody knows what they means, but the vendor, which has been the same vendor for the El Paso County since 2018, and the Republican parties at the local level. I don't know if you knew, but whenever the parties go and inspect the machines before they get validated by the Secretary of State, which, by the way, resigned as of July, for obvious reasons, I lost my train of thought, because it's very disappointing and it makes me very angry that people cannot follow the law and cannot conduct oversight and conduct their duties and responsibilities as they were elected to. But going back to the electronic ballot, the electronic machines, those are the only two individuals or parties that really look at the machines. The El Paso County Administrative Office in El Paso, Ms. Lisa Wise, is just there to assist the political organizations. I say that one more time. Ms. Lisa Wise and her staff are there to ensure that the state of Texas voting process is followed. But then whenever you have a complaint and you bring it to them, they don't do anything. They refer you to the state of Texas. And then whenever you bring it up to the state of Texas, They do not submit it for prosecution. Isn't that crazy? We need to change that. And we're going to change that for 2026. I can promise you that. And if I'm not unable to get it for 2026, at least for the presidential election, we will get it done. But we will get it done. They wanted me to pay $19 because there were 19 mailing ballots that for some reason the voters signed. And the county will charge me $1 per ballot to redact that information. Let me tell you something, El Paso County. I'm not going to give you not even 1 cent. You can keep those 19 ballots. I can review the entire boxes for the Republican ballot and get what I need to get. You know, and at the beginning, I was willing to comply and give them the $19. But where are my property taxes going? Where are all the taxes that we pay on bonds that the county expect from us every single year? Where is that money? In somebody's pocket? Because it's not being used for what it's supposed to be used for. So no, I'm not going to give you the $19. You can keep those 19 ballots and give me the rest of them. You know, things like that aggravate me. Things like that increase my stress level because you will want to believe that people will like to do the right thing. You know, whenever I was running for the campaign, I received envelopes back from constituents saying, "My mom passed away, please take her out of the rolls." Whenever I will text constituents via our texting campaign, I will get texts back stating, "Please delete me from the rolls. I'm not a Texas resident anymore." And to this date, I don't know the reason why God put in my heart to run for office. I don't know if it's to make it into office in a future time, or if it was to be the voice of our community. Because there's a lot of people that think just exactly like I think, but they're afraid to open their mouth. Why? Because they work. A lot of them work for the government. A lot of them work for the county. So do you think that they're going to expose the county and cut the hand that feed them? No. But luckily for me, I don't work for the county. Luckily for me, I am retired. Luckily for me, I have the tools, resources to actually help our community on the things that our county is not helping them. You know, like I told you guys before, I am not going to support, endorse, recommend any candidate. I tell you who the candidates are. I'll share their platform with you, meaning their website. You guys can reach out to them, educate yourself, and then vote decisively and consciously. Now, what I will tell you are the strengths and weaknesses that I have observed on those candidates. Why? Because I know them all. I have met them all throughout the campaigns since 2022. You know, we need better elected officials at our city level, at our county level, at our state level, and our federal level. I am going to try to stick with the nonpartisan races because I'm really, really trying. I'm doing a lot of research and a lot of culture search on how I'm going to proceed with the DMB Voices of the Borderland. I'm going to create a committee for our campaign if I decide to ever run again. I don't know. I'm going to try to do it as a project under the nonprofit because it's nonpartisan. I don't know. So I'm still deciding how to move forward with the DMB Voices of the Borderland, in where we have real conversations with stronger communities. Okay. You know, I have a facility in New Mexico, which is literally like 100 feet from the Texas border. And our city council, Alejandra Chavez, decided that because obviously she's running for re-election, so she needs to gain votes, right? She needs to get votes for her campaign. She decided to close the border, right? And it's still under construction. To close the border between the state of Texas and the state of New Mexico. Which to me, honestly, four, you know, good if she does, bad if she does. Meaning my clients can still go through Solon Park, can go through Futurity, and end up on Frontera going to my facility, right? But let me tell you something. Let me tell you what Chavez didn't tell you. Because I was talking with a neighbor of mine, and I tried to be very patient with her answers. But at the end of the conversation, I was really annoyed. The news came to do an article in regards to the area, you know, and that's whenever Brian Kennedy used to be the city council. And Brian Kennedy, you know, he met with city council in Solon Park. He met with the constituents in District 1, and he truly tried to help, you know, for that gate to not be, you know, close. But it's like I always told Brian, one, it's not an interstate. It does not belong to the federal government. It's a local road. In reality, El Paso can do whatever the heck they want to with it without even telling the constituents, which that's exactly what they did. They started constructing and they didn't advise, didn't tell anyone. But I go back to what Ms. Chavez didn't tell you. You see, if I leave my property and I go on Frontera, I can take San Gabriel to Futurity and end up in Solon Park, which if I'm going east or north of Solon Park, that will be the route that I will take. Now, if I'm going to take Doniphan going west, Chavez, God help you. I can actually take Boy Scout all the way around and end up in Frontera, which is where that school is, you know, especially, you know, the school that gave you a lot of contributions whenever you got elected, by the way. And the same traffic that was going to be created at the beginning, it will continue to be created at the railroad track on Frontera and Doniphan. Why? Because she will be crazy to close Boy Scout because there's El Paso residents that live on that street. So she will be blocking those residents from actually going to work, going to the supermarket, going wherever they need to go. So in my opinion, it was very dirty politics to close the state because in reality, Solon Park are our neighbors. And let me tell you something. If there's a fire in Texas and the fire department from El Paso cannot get there on time, guess who's going to respond? Sunland Park. So she's not only creating enemies with our neighbors in Sunland Park, but she's making our residents on both states very pissed off because those roads were not constructed to hold the capacity of ton trucks, buses, and any heavy vehicle. The other day, I observed a child playing with a ball outside his house. If there's a vehicle that goes at a high speed, which usually happens, and that kid gets hit by a vehicle, guess who that resident is going to sue? El Paso. Guess who's going to pay for that? You and I, as taxpayers. So that was just, I needed to get that off my chest. Let's talk about water. So the water increase. Now, think about this one. Let's say that you have a yard. You have grass. You have flowers. And you water them, right? Because you want to take care of your property. You want to make it beautiful. And it make you feel good. It's self-care. Now, the water department is going to charge you for that water that you utilize to water your yard and water your flowers. But they're also going to charge you for the sewer. And the sewer is calculated by the amount of water that you use on your property. So how does that make sense? At least it doesn't to me. Last month, I was out of town for 2 weeks. I was in DC for 2 weeks. That means that I didn't use water. I didn't take a shower there. I didn't wash my clothes. I didn't wash dishes. And then I got sick like a dog because of the stomach flu, the stomach parasite that's going around. Sick like a dog. I couldn't even hold water on my stomach. I didn't use that much water. And my water bill was almost $181. How can you get that? Whenever I didn't want to know stupid blue meter, we were forced to it. And the El Paso Water Department don't go to your residence. It's all digital, all digital. We are depending on machines and electronics and devices so much that we're becoming stupid. Same thing with the electricity. Some constituents say, we need to get to we need to get on the grid, and don't be a standalone with El Paso Electric Company, right? But don't you remember whenever we had the storms in San Antonio and Austin and Houston, and they were on blackout for hours because they were on the grid? The reason because we had power and we had electricity is because we are not on the grid, meaning we are separate from the grid. Now, the El Paso Electric Company is the only vendor that serves the area, right? A lot of people got solar panels. That means that electricity is being produced and giving back to the community. So how is it that our electric bills are going higher? I mean, I have heard people saying that their electric bill is like $600. I mean, the majority of the people in El Paso, they're on a fixed income. We claim to be the safest city, you know, one of the safest cities in the nation. I'm going to tell you why that is. Just think, no está hecho de plomo. You have Fort Bliss, which is high security. You have every single federal, state, and local law enforcement agency in El Paso. So it is common sense that we're going to be one of the safest cities in the United States because of the presence of those two entities that I just mentioned. You see, things like that upset me. Because whenever elected officials sell that to the constituents, they believe it. It's like people are on the juice. I call it the Kool-Aid because there's no other way to say it. Property taxes. Let's talk about the veterans. So what the state of Texas said is that if you're 100% disabled, your taxes are exempt, meaning they're waived. But let me tell you how the county is getting at you. They're increasing the market value of your property. So your insurance is going to increase. And guess who the insurance companies work for? Our government. Governor Abbott, and I need to look it up, but his intent was for the counties within the state of Texas to do an appraisal, or a review of properties every 3 years. Why are we getting our property's value or appraised every single year? Pretty simple. There's no oversight from the state of Texas. So they're allowing the county to do whatever they want to with our community and our constituents. People are leaving El Paso. And it's not because there's nothing to do, okay? Because if you find things to do, you'll find things. I mean, if you look for things to do, you will find things to do in our community. If not, you can go to Albuquerque, you can go to Ruidoso, Cloudcroft, and they're very short distances from El Paso. In a day, you can make that trip. I mean, shoot. People come from Florida to come to our concerts. People come from California. People come from all over the world to come to the concerts that we do in El Paso. And you tell me that there's nothing to do? No. People are leaving El Paso because they cannot afford their houses. They cannot afford their living expenditures, such as water, gas, electricity, groceries, gasoline, and I can continue on. Everybody has different expenses, but you know the point that I'm trying to make. We need to shift this vessel, this humongous piece of metal that is holding us back. Humans are very smart. And whenever they get together and they bounce ideas, we are so powerful. The government wants to keep you down with their thumb down. That's the reason, because they do the grants. That's the reason because they do the food banks. That's the reason because they do the assistance. All they're doing is paying salaries to these individuals that are working at these entities. That's all they're doing. You have no idea the amount of food that goes to waste at the food banks. No idea. I would rather the government to give people in need, in real need, to give them a coupon or a voucher for them to buy the food that they choose to eat, obviously away from, groceries that don't have any single nutrition value, or alcohol or cigarettes or stuff like that. And then I look around and I look at all these organizations that are in our community. Oh, and they continue to increase. Oh yeah, because they found a golden goose. If they can manage to get a grant, they have employment. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to be very serious whenever I say this. If you are a friend of mine and you get paid by a grant that's paid by the taxpayers, just delete me from my Facebook. Just delete me. Simple. If you want a job, if you need a job, go and get a job. My nonprofit, I use my funds. I don't get any grants. We survive by donations and survive by my paycheck. That's how we're able to do what we do. And I expect everyone else to do the same. It's simple. At one time, people were complaining about, whenever the President Trump wanted to decrease the manpower in the VA. I'm going to be honest with you. One, I hate going to the VA. Whenever I go in the door, I can see, I'm not lying to you, I can see 15 employees just hanging around. There's no necessity for that. And then they don't check the IDs. Anybody can bring a bomb or anything in that building and nobody will ever know. But then we have elected officials saying that, oh, we care about veterans. Well, you're not caring about veterans whenever you don't care about their life and their safety, which that should be number one of your priorities whenever you're dealing with veterans. Many of us were not drafted. The majority of us were volunteers because our patriotism to our country, our respect and love for the flag and our nation. I get very annoyed whenever people say, thank you for your service. No, don't thank me. Do you have any kids? Do you have any nephews? Have they served? Probably not. So don't thank me for my service. I did what I wanted to do at a certain point in my life. My brain goes nonstop, 100 miles an hour all day long. It never stops. And it's hard to believe, but I can do several things at the same time just because my brain has been wired for that. And some of you that are on Facebook right now know that. As a logistician, you have to manage so many things at one time that we were trained for that. Let's go back to the El Paso Electric. So they're not only going to increase the electricity in El Paso, or they did already, but they're actually looking into increasing the electricity in New Mexico. So I don't get affected once, but I get affected twice, you know. And like I say, if you have any questions, just post them on the chat and I can provide an answer if I have it. If not, I get back with you. If you're watching us on Zoom, you can actually leave a comment or question on the chat and I'll be able to see it. So if you go to the DMB FOR group on Facebook, you'll be able to see the Zoom link that we do meet on Tuesdays. This is Tuesday, 6 o'clock. And we usually go for 45 minutes, an hour if we have to, but no more than that. I know that the majority of the people are getting home or they're eating dinner and don't have the time to watch it live. And I get it. Just if you can, please go back to the beginning and watch the recording. Leave a message, ask me questions, because that's how we're going to start the conversations. August 6th is going to be our next Invest for Impact community engagement projects. And those are just informal conversations at my property so we can bounce ideas back and forth how we're going to get control of our local government. And we're going to start at the local level, we're going to continue to the state level, and then we're going to move on to the federal level. You know, I have been living in El Paso for, I want to say 26 years, going on 27, because I arrived here in 2000. And this is my community. I am not going anywhere. This is my community. You know, I have investments in our community. Just don't trash it. If you become an elected official or you're an employee of any of our government departments, don't trash it. Make it better. Leave it better than how you found it. I see a couple of my friends on Facebook. Thank you for watching and being live with us. Let me close my door real quick. Hold on. I'm back. You know, I cannot believe that it's already the end of July. I mean, we're going to open our eyes and we're going to be on Christmas. You know, the years are going faster and faster every time. What else should we talk about? Oh, let's talk about the property that's behind my facility or behind my property. So one of the reasons, well, I know that that is the reason. El Paso County decided to close the state because they want to force, let's put it that way, force Salem Park to come up with an exit from that property behind me. So people go to McNutt instead of them having to go through Futurity, right? Well, let me tell you something else, Ms. Chavez. The city of Sunland Park, the city council, advised the developer that they needed to resubmit their petition. They never did. The first petition was never granted. So, with that said, it might take 3 years to build in that location. And I tell you something else that I have been thinking. and I could be wrong, but I'm going to throw it out there to see what you think. The property behind me are 62 acres, and they have water rights. And Santa Teresa is building a data center, and they need water. So maybe they decide to sell it to Meta and get more money for their bucks, because they had an individual interested in the property and they were willing to pay 5 million, even though that property only costs around 2.5, actually less than that. I just wonder sometimes who is getting the money from all these projects. You see, we need an elected official that is vested in our community, not just an elected official or a candidate that live in El Paso. We need, I said that one more time, we need an elected official that is vested, committed, dedicated to the constituents of District 1, because that's the one that's more affected, and our county. We don't need individuals that have dual citizenship. No, we don't. Sorry. No. I pray to God that other candidates step up to the plate for this upcoming November 3rd, 2026 election. And I just came back from DC, and I went to an intensive training on being a campaign manager. If you don't know where to start, just reach out. Just do the filing correctly. File your quarterly reports on time. Follow the law. Don't lose votes, gain votes. You know, like I was telling you before, whenever I run for the campaign this time around in 2026, none of the other 5 candidates file reports. Are those the individuals that we want representing our government? I don't. I'd rather undervote than actually voting for these people. You know, the word on the street is that Brian Kennedy might be running for mayor in 2028. You know, if he decides to, he has my vote and support. But like I stated before, he's an attorney, and that position is a full-time job. It's not a part-time job. So he will have to pause his office or have an attorney that take over all the cases so he can actually be the mayor that we deserve in our community. You know, that position was not full-time, it was part-time. And years ago, it became full-time. I guess because people wanted a full-time check. I don't know. But we cannot continue having part-time elected officials. We need full-time elected officials fulfilling their oath and going through all their duties and responsibilities, not some. You know, on social media, I put some point of contacts for you to call regarding the increase on the El Paso Electric. There's a couple of forums that are coming up in the community. I know that they're tedious, but if you have the time, you need to show up and ask these people the hard questions, because that's the only way that they're going to work for our community. Standing outside the building, doing a protest, it doesn't do anything. It just causes trouble, because you only need an infiltrated individual in that group to start causing chaos, and then law enforcement to have to get involved, and then people get arrested, and then they go to jail and they destroy their life just because they're protesting, even though that is their right as a US citizen. You need to think smart, follow the law, but think smart. And once you make a decision, you need to move forward and go full throttle with it. There's no pausing in between. That is the best advice that I can give you. Like I say, if you have any questions, just leave them on the comment section. Good, bad, or ugly. You don't hurt my feelings. I have a very thick skin. It comes one ear, get out the other. I take it in consideration, but if people are going to be nasty to me, I just ignore them. It's pretty simple for me. Very easy, actually. Well, we're coming up at 6:50, and I was going to watch a movie. I cannot drink coffee. I cannot have no caffeine for the rest of the night, and I cannot drive tonight. So I guess that I'm going to watch a movie and drink some non-caffeinated tea before I go to bed. But it was great to have you again. We'll meet again next Tuesday. If you have any subject that you want me to touch on our next Tuesday episode, just contact me via any of the social media platforms, or send me a message on the website, and I get them directly. And I will research the item, and we will talk about it, and we will discuss. Okay. Just one more thing before I forget. There were 2 city council members that did not file their reports on time. If you have a court case and you don't file your documents on time, the judge will not accept them. With that said, city council members and county commissioners and every elected official above need to follow the TEC and the FEC guidelines and file their reports. Regardless if you did not receive any contribution and did not have any operating expenditures. Okay? You have to follow the law to get the trust and respect from our constituents. I am okay being the lone wolf. Democrats think that I'm Republican. Republicans think that I'm Democrat. I'm neither or. I live my life with conservative values. It is not black and white to me. In the military, we learn about diversity and challenges and having discussions, conversations to get to a middle ground. That's called bipartisan. And that's what we need in our government right now. Democrats are pulling to the left, Republicans are pulling to the right, independents, they don't fall anywhere. Libertarians are voting Republican because they don't have a party on their primaries. Stop thinking about it in red or blue. Start thinking about values and the legacy that we want to leave for our youth in our community. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that counts. In 2 more years, 4 more years, you're going to have another political organization in power. And everything that we did at the beginning is going to repeat itself. You know, I fight for immigrants, legal immigrants. If you are aiding and abetting illegal immigrants and not reporting them, you're not just breaking the law, but you're doing a disservice to our community. We cannot allow individuals to continue to come to our country just for votes. We can't do that. Our criminality is going to increase. Our resources are going to be more scarce, meaning less benefits for our residents and constituents. Is that what we want? All of us, including myself, we have to reconsider our thoughts, our actions. And you know what? Every single action has a consequence from the minute that you get out of bed. If you step on the wrong, the wrong manner, you're going to twist your ankle. That's a consequence. You can drive in your car, you can do everything right, and a truck can just hit you, and you're either dead or at the hospital. Everything that we do in life has a consequence. We just have to be able to deal with it and accept it. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones that make the choices, nobody else but us. So I hope that you guys have a great night. Oh, Ben, you asked me who those city council representatives were. One of them, I can never remember, Acevedo. Acevedo was one of them, and the other one was Chris Canales. You know, every single candidate, every single elected official, they need to do better. You know, elected officials work for our community. The community do not work for them. You know, I was watching a video of Talarico, and the Black women community went on him with all they got. And he remained calm. He kept his posture. He was very polite on his answers. You know, everything is about perception. Everything. You know, we have a candidate for judge that whenever constituents don't agree with her, she deletes them from social media. Honestly, really? I mean, are we back in high school? You know, there was years ago, but you guys can research it. There was actually a judge that won his election by one vote, one single vote. So if you had the mentality that votes don't matter, you need to reconsider that, because voting does matter. But more importantly, decisively and consciously voting matters the most. Whenever you undervote, you're giving the power to somebody else. And I get it. Sometimes we go to the voting booth and the candidates that are there, one, you don't know, or two, you don't like. But you know what? Just think about it whenever you go on a road trip and you are so thirsty because it's really hot outside. It's like 3-digit temperatures. And you have 3 stores. That's all you get. If you continue, you're going to die by thirst. Again, do your due diligence and choose the best candidate, in your opinion, that will do a better job than that the elected officials are sitting right now. Or if you think that the elected official that's sitting right now in that capacity is doing a great job, then re-elect them. There's no perfect candidate. Zero. And there's not a candidate that you're going to agree with 100%, not even 90%. You need to decide what's important to you on a candidate or an elected official. And that's all I got for you guys. I mean, I know that we talk about a lot of things. I just ask you to go back and replay the video. I'm going to put well, let me rephrase that. I'm going to try to put the poll right now, so you guys can vote on it. I don't think that you can see it on the video. I think that only the people that are on Zoom can see it, but you cannot see it on Facebook. I still need to work on this, but I'll do this. I get the QR code and I will post it below this video and you'll be able to get it. That's what we'll do. Okay. So I don't have anything else for you guys tonight. Have a great night. And I will see you guys next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. See you later.